How'd the Young Turks come into being? Well, we started back in 2002, February 14th, Valentine's Day. Oh, shmoopy popoopy. It was the day that Sirius Satellite Radio launched. We were their first original talk show. We stayed with Sirius Satellite Radio for a number of years, 3-4 years or so. And we were first on Sirius Buzz, then Sirius Left. Actually, the show was a lot more about pop culture and politics mixed in the beginning. Became more political when there was no other liberal show on air at the time, on radio or TV, so we just kind of had to pick up the mantle. We couldn't believe Bush was invading Iraq. Anyway, so we moved over to the liberal station on Sirius. They almost created that for us because we existed there, along with some other programs as well. And then we joined Air America, became their morning drive show, and we were on XM satellite radio with them. Then we decided to come to the web. We got partnerships with AOL and YouTube. I don't know if you know this, but we're huge on YouTube. We can't buy a drink on YouTube. Now we're going back on XM as well, so we're going to be on XM, AOL, and YouTube, and have some new deals as well. But basically, that's how we got started. What sets us apart from other political shows is we're keeping it real. Look, you know, when you watch other political shows, you get a sense that they're, for lack of a better word, they're fake. You know, they look at you like all empathetically, as if they really care, and they speak robotically. Part of the reason for that is because they're reading from a script that their producer wrote for them. They don't even really mean it most of the time. Not every show. Keith Olbermann does a great show, and he seems pretty real. Certainly, I don't know, Jon Stewart doesn't count as a political show, but of course he's great. But a lot of the shows that you see on TV are stiff and completely disingenuous. And we try to make politics entertaining, too, because I think it is entertaining. And I get actually impassioned by it. I get worked up. I find it both funny and, at the same time, sometimes enraging, as I was about some of the things that happened today, which was the Democrats buckling, as they always do. You see, I'm almost into it already, because it's part of what I do. It's part of who I am. This is how I am off air, too, and I think people can tell that, and I think people can relate to that. You know, how do we strike the balance between it being entertaining and keeping people well informed? And that's the whole point of the show. I look through the news of the day, and we all do, and we think, what's the most interesting news? What's the most important news? And those sometimes are different things, and sometimes they're the same thing. And how do we make the important news and make it entertaining? And how do we take the interesting news and make it important? And it's driven by the fact that we actually care about this stuff. So if I am, you know, worked up about an issue, I'm going to tell you in a way that shows how worked up I am. And sometimes that emotion bubbles over, and sometimes people find that entertaining. God bless their hearts. And other times I'm significantly amused by the stories, whether it's politicians doing stupid things, or we also cover pop culture and entertainment. And God, if there's any set of people that do dumber things than politicians, it's celebrities. So I actually love the material. I love the news every day, and I think we can strike that balance easily because I have a passion for it. So I think it's all entertaining, and most of it is important. So, and we share all that with our audience. Covering this year's presidential elections, of course, have been awesome. It was as good a primary race as you could hope for on the Democratic side between Hillary Clinton and Obama, a lot of drama. On the Republican side, oh, I wish it lasted longer. That was so much fun. Come on. Mitt Romney talking about hunting varmints, Rudy Giuliani taking the call from his wife in the middle of a speech at the NRA. They're all a bunch of goofballs. One's crazier than the other. And then Ron Paul kicking everybody's ass during the debates, and them ignoring the complete reality that he's saying, at least on the foreign policy side. It was high entertainment. You know, one of the later questions is, what clips do I like best on YouTube? I'll tell you, some of the best clips I like is our producer, J.R. Jackson, put together, you know, the best of the Republican primary and the best of the Democratic primary to music. And I love those, because I love those moments, and I love covering this election. And we're just getting warmed up. Now we got the real deal. We got the title bout, Obama versus McCain. And McCain's a barrel of laughs, man. The guy contradicts himself every single day. So I can't wait to see what he's saying next. And Obama is a unbelievable politician. And you could say that in the good way, and you could also take it for in a bad way. But he is. He's a once-in-a-lifetime politician. He has tremendous empathy, at least shows that, and really knows how to connect with an audience, and has a real talent and knack for what people want to hear. And I think he largely believes it, which makes it even better. As far as the questions that I'd ask the two different candidates now, Obama and McCain, on Obama, what I'm most curious about is how does he make the decision, how does he get that judgment and that balance between politics and policy? What do I mean by that? You know, he's a great politician, and sometimes he does things, as all politicians do, for the sake of politics, and not for policy or principle or because he really believes in it. And other times, of course, any politician, if they're halfway decent human being, will draw the line and say, I can't do that for politics' sake, and this is what I really believe, and I'm going to fight for it, even though I don't think it's going to help me politically. How does he draw that balance? You know, where does he decide that line is, and when is it all right to cross from one side to another? Because I don't have a good sense of that from Obama yet. I'm not completely sure what he's willing to do for politics' sake, and I'd love to know the answer to that. On McCain's side, I mean, it's a real fundamental question, which is, who are you, dude? And really, because you got John McCain, who was against torture and who was in favor of immigration reform in a sensible way, and the list goes on and on. I can give you 10, 20 different things. And then you got the John McCain who's on the complete opposite side. The John McCain who says, oh, yeah, my immigration bill that was going to, have a sensible path to citizenship? No, I'm against it. I'd vote against it right now. And he's flip-flopped on all these things. So I don't know if he's doing it for political expediency, and he actually believes one side or another, or I don't know if he's lost himself. And he doesn't quite really know what he believes. And he will say something to a hardcore Republican audience to please them, and then an independent audience to please them. And he's lost track of what he really believes. I don't know. And if he does, the great mystery is, which side are you really on, John McCain? Are you on the sensible side, or are you on the crazy right-wing side? You've taken positions on both sides on almost every issue. And not just like 8 years ago or 20 years ago, recently within this race. So I don't know who John McCain is. And man, if I could have a conversation where he was honest and didn't think it was going to get out in the world, and he told me what he actually believes about the issues, oh, that would be phenomenal. Now, he's pandered so much that it might not really matter, because even if he believes those things, for political sake, he might do the exact opposite. In fact, he's shown that over the last couple of years. So if he's president, it might not matter what he personally believes, but it would still be at least interesting to find out, and probably some indication of what he'd do as president. How has YouTube impacted politics? Go ask Senator, or I should say former Senator George Allen from Virginia. Oh, come on. These guys, in the past, they used to get a free ride. You go out, even if, obviously, with TV, but people would record it on their VHS, and then what are you going to do with it? If you caught George Allen saying something egregious and you have it on your home video, if the gatekeepers, the television, for the most part, sometimes radio, if those mass media folks wouldn't put it on air, you couldn't do anything with it. You were stuck. If you saw John McCain in a clear flip-flop, or you saw Obama do a gaffe, whatever it might be, as a citizen, as a member of the public who cares, there was nothing you could do about it. You could make copies and send it to your congressman or to your local media folks or to your friends, but that wasn't going to get you anywhere. Now you put it on YouTube, and we all see it. And you catch on fire. I mean, you really torn down the whole concept of gatekeepers, and that's phenomenal. It hasn't impacted politics. It's changed politics. And some people are slow to catch on, as John McCain is, and that's why he keeps contradicting himself and not realizing he's on tape and it's on YouTube, and we're going to see it, and Brave New Films is going to put it together, and then we're going to air it on the Young Turks, and everybody's going to see it. My goals, look, I'm crazy. My goals are complete conquest of the world. I want to be multimedia. We want to be on radio. We want to be on the web. We want to be on TV all at the same time. Have, basically a 3-hour show and then run clips on YouTube and in other places. And people say it can't be done. How are you going to get 3 hours on television? How are you going to be on all 3 platforms? You're shooting too high. Well, we'll just have to see, won't we? We've already got 1.5 of it. We got satellite radio locked down. We got the internet locked down. We got over 3 million viewers a month on YouTube now, and growing exponentially every day. We got a lot of viewers on AOL, on our own website, on theyoungturks.com, where they could watch the whole show. And we got a good economic model for it to last for a long time. And look, I'd like to accomplish all those things, and I'd like to be on top of the world. But the thing is, I actually don't even need that. All we need to do is be self-sustaining, which basically we are already. And then everything else is gravy. Just do what we do and what we love to do, and then grow it from there. And it looks like we're in really good shape to do it. Do I have a favorite YouTube video? Too many to count, and I'm totally serious. I love the Brave New Films videos where they show McCain saying one thing and then the next clip shows him saying the exact opposite. They've got so many of those. He looks absolutely ridiculous. I love the work that they do there. I love the heads up video where the mainstream media is McCain's base. Ha ha, your base. It cracks me up every time. You see that? I love JR's videos that I talked about earlier, showing the Republican and the Democratic races set to music. Out of ours, I'm on most of them, so it's kind of weird to say which one I like. I guess the one where I lose it, Cenk Goes Ballistic, from a long time ago when we had the old set, and I'm slamming the USA Today on the table. That's always fun. And my guilty pleasure is probably Dr. David D. Schultz slapping John Stossel around. And I shouldn't. I shouldn't like that. I denounce and reject myself for liking that. But it's funny every time. I have a new favorite video on YouTube. It's Metabobs. Apparently, this Captain Awesome character did a video about us. I say apparently. Of course I watched it. And it was funny and ridiculous and actually kind of flattering in its own maniacal way, although he certainly didn't mean it that way. And I was kind of amused by that. And then Metabob does a response to him. It was a 20-minute dissertation on the show and me, and he nailed it. God, it was phenomenal. He really did his homework. I don't know if he's a professor or what he is, but I mean, he got my blogs, he got our show, he put together all the clips, and he's exactly right. I mean, not just because it was complimentary in parts, but because he nailed my philosophy and he discerned it from the different clips and the different blogs that I put up. So, a 20-minute piece about me? Of course that's my favorite new video on YouTube. Any advice? Look, advice is full of cliches for a good reason, because they got to be cliches because they're kind of true. One is persistence. And I probably 1 through 9 are persistence. When I first started, I sent out my tape to 400 radio stations. And I got about 2 jobs out of it. One was a weekend job in Boston. The other one was a fill-in and weekend job in Washington, D.C. Then I parlayed that into TV and then radio and then internet and then back to radio, etc. But how did I do that? Just keep on running, man. And people say don't take no for an answer, and that's largely true. You just remember this, though. You need balance, right? You can't be mental about it. You can't go into program directors' houses and be like, I'm here. Hire me, right? That's too much. But at the same time, you can go to their office, to the radio station, and say, hey, listen, I really believe in this. Can you listen to it? And do a little preparation ahead of time. You'll be a lot better off if you send to the right radio stations and follow those with more of your energy and your passion than you would if you did what I did in the beginning, because I didn't know any better, sending to so many different stations, at least half of which, probably 90% of which, didn't make sense for my show. So get focused, have some good judgment, but once you got those down, the bottom line is persistence. And if you really believe in what you do and you get it to enough people, somebody, believe it or not, somebody will put you on air, and then you're on your own. You know, you get good ratings, you get a lot of people to watch or to listen, and you'll take off. And that's the way the world works. It's definitely not easy, but it's doable. As Kevin Garnett said at the end of the Celtics-Lakers championship, anything's possible! I think his version was a little better.